So I'm really frustrated because I uploaded a video this morning, like early this morning, and it's still uploading because my internet is so slow. And I'm so annoyed because like I had this thing going where I have like a video coming out at 3 p.m. every day, and this internet being slow like just totally threw me off, and I'm so annoyed. And it's like, first thing I'm gonna do tomorrow morning is go to Verizon and see if I can get like one of those portable hotspots that like is really fast, so maybe that will work. And I have therapy tomorrow, and I'm gonna see if I can try to do that, like over online. Good morning. So I'm basically like going to the Verizon store to see if I can get like an internet hotspot, because it's been a couple days and I still haven't been able to upload a video because for some reason like my internet is just so slow that it's just not uploading anything. I mean, it was already bad and it already like was slowing me down before, but now it's slowing me down even more. And it's like the last luxury that I have right now is time. Like I don't have a whole lot of time. Like I'm busy working at a restaurant and stuff, and like I can't deal with this really slow internet. So I'm gonna go and figure that out. And yeah, again, really appreciate you guys watching this, and it feels good to like share my life with other people. And really nothing like eventful has been happening. It's just me in my condo, and I'm like trying to get the house rented out still. Like I thought I found a good tenant, and then they just like flaked, and so I'm not gonna get too caught up. If that doesn't happen, I'm just gonna keep calling people and like seeing if they're still interested. Whatever. At Verizon here. I think this is what I'm looking for.
But I can't transfer it over. So you guys have to talk with the reserve, so it looks like they already started the process. So there's an email.
So they didn't have the internet that I needed, and it's kind of annoying because there's like no other option for me. The only thing I can do is drive out an hour to the house where I have fiber Wi-Fi, and that's like the only place where I can upload these videos. That's why I've been trying to make these videos shorter, because it's just impossible to upload like an hour-long video through the internet that I got right now. Another thing that I've been thinking is like, I'm really glad to be out of my recent ex's world. And I know it's like, I keep talking about this so much, but it's like I'm also trying to understand like what it was that scared me so much about his world. And I think a big part of it, especially in light of like all the political stuff that's happening around the world, a big part of it is that all of his friends and family are like very, very, very politically left-leaning. And he also is, and he like pretended to be right-leaning in order to like impress me. And you know, I know people are like, oh, he loves you so much, he's like trying to have your views, but like to me it actually just makes me not trust him, you know? He was like pretending to like be just like me. And the thing is that I wasn't even that political at all. I mean, I was trying to not be political. I was trying to run away from it, and I feel like I got sucked in by being involved with him and his friends, because they're just all so political, and they're so lefty, and they're so virulently like political. I hate Trumpsters, Nazis, punch the Nazis, fight the Nazis. It's like, oh, and the funny thing is like I'm Jewish and they're all a bunch of white people, which is beside the point. Like, you know, their obsession with all this stuff. I know what kind of people they are, because that's a thing that I spent so long trying to run away from. And he brought me right back into it. And I hate him for that. I hate, like, you know, I'm sure he didn't understand or realize how toxic this was for me. And I didn't realize, honestly, how toxic it was for me too. You know, like, some people are just so damaged by this shit that we just don't want to be anywhere near it. We don't want to be anywhere near anyone that is going to pull us into it. And if I have to be around political stuff, yeah, I would much rather be around people that don't hate me, that might actually love me, that are like Trumpies or right-wing or conservative. And there's more of a chance that you're going to see that in Texas. And people are like, oh, Dallas is Democrat. Texas Democrats they're not crazy. Texas Democrats are, compared to people in Minneapolis, St. Paul, like where my ex is from, Texas Democrats are actually like pretty conservative, in comparison. And they would definitely not freak out or flip a shit if you say, or if they hear about where I worked, It's just like, I don't want to deal with that, and I don't have to. And like, I feel really relieved to be away from that, I feel relieved to not be in that environment. And I still feel afraid of my life still, like I still feel afraid of lefties, honestly. I feel afraid to like be anywhere near them. And like, I'm sure there's a lot of nice ones. There's a lot of nice lefties, nice liberals, liberals. But like, I just feel kind of traumatized, by how much hate I saw from them for no reason. And the funny or weird thing is that it's always for me. They hate me so much for hating myself and my brown refugee past. And it's just like a bunch of white people that like hate me for no reason. And the excuse, the self-righteous fake ass bullshit excuse, is they hate me because I am hating brown refugees by being a conservative. And it's like, do they understand that like all of my brown refugee friends and family are conservative? Like, that's how they are. It's just like, maybe they're not so political, but they're definitely not a bunch of lefty communists, and in fact, the reason why they're refugees is because they fled from communists. They fled from a country that had a communist revolution. So I think that I just don't want to be around any of that load of bullshit, any of those people. Those are the people that are going to bring down our country. And I know I sound like a crazy person, but like, I know it's coming in our country too, in the US. And I know it's those people that are going to bring it, and I don't want to be anywhere near it. I don't want to be, I'd rather be far, far away, out in redneck land. That's where I feel safe. Out in redneck land, around all the guns and all the crazy rednecks. That's where I want to be when all of that happens. Gosh, I look gross. Shit, don't look at me. So like, this is something that I've experienced before. Like, I've dated, a good amount of lefties in DC, and they're attracted to me because, I'm like a brown girl from, my family's from the Middle East, they're refugees, and it's like, it's cool for a lot of liberals, and for me, it's cool that people think it's cool, I like that. And so, I'll get into these relationships, and then I'll just get like a whole bunch of shit from these like very white, very like in the box guys that like I was initially attracted to because I thought they were like open-minded, but they just end up being like so sanctimonious about their liberalism. And it's like, and I remember this one guy I dated in DC, and this is in DC mostly, it doesn't really happen in other places, but this one guy, and so this one guy in DC that I dated, who was like, he worked at the Washington Post, and I thought it was cool, and I was working this shitty waitress job at a shitty restaurant that treated me like shit, and they were awful. I mean, the general manager knew that I had worked in conservative media, so she hated that, and she really gave me shit about it. And she was also like this white, very liberal lady that was just, she was an evil person. Like, and I'm not the only person who will say this. Like, she was bullying people constantly, and anyone who works at that restaurant will tell you what an evil, nasty woman she was. She was so mean, and she would make fun of me. She would stand there in a circle. She would make fun of me, like, because I used to, like, I had Twitter, and I would tweet about my feelings the same way I am now. I would tweet about my feelings, and I had a blog, and I read on my blog, and so she would come and, like, make fun of everybody in front of the whole circle of people, and dear diary, today somebody was mean to me, and so, like, she would, like, make fun of me for my writing online. So yeah, she was one of these type of people. And you know, whether or not you have a problem with how I ended up working in conservative politics, I mean, objectively, this woman was just mean. And so I hated my life working at that restaurant. I hated my job. And then suddenly, out of the blue, Fox News messages me, and they're like, hey, we wanted to hire you to be Laura Ingram's producer on her primetime cable news show. Laura Ingram at the time had the highest rating on primetime television in the world. In the world. Like, that was nuts. I was like, holy, what? Like, are you serious? And I actually didn't think they were serious. I was like, wait, is this Fox News? Like, are you guys Fox News? Is this for real? And they were like, yeah, we want you to, like, interview with us and whatever. And they just hired me, like, out of the blue. And I was a scriptwriter, and I had my name on the door in her office. I saw her every night. It was like wild that I even got that job, and I was so excited. And I was dating this guy who was like this white liberal, works at Washington Post. My parents work at the New York Times, okay? And I was actually really into this guy, but he was just so like, oh no, like, he was so like mad that I decided to take this Fox News job. And he was like, you know, don't you get it? They're tokening you. They're hiring you because you're brown, and they want to token you. They don't like brown people, and they hate brown refugees. And I was like, and he's like, Laura Ingram, she hates brown refugees. Why are you going to work for her? And I was like, well, I mean, obviously she doesn't hate brown refugees so much if she's hiring me, and like, my parents are brown refugees, and like, they're about to change my life from working at this shitty restaurant job to working as a primetime television producer. And he was like, why do you hate yourself so much? No, they obviously have an agenda by hiring you. They're trying to, like, not, I don't even know. It was so dumb. It was so dumb that I even engaged in that type of conversation. And looking back, why did I even, like, entertain these people? Like, WTF. I'm trying not to cuss on the internet. But, like, this is what I experienced every day working in DC. This was my life. These are the kind of people I had to deal with. And those were the nice people. Those are the people that were like, oh, you're not a hateful person. You're being tricked by hateful people. And so, like, the mean people were mean. Like that restaurant lady, the mean people were nasty. The mean people were like, get the fuck out of here, you racist Nazi bitch. And, like, you know, it was always like white people. Because the funny thing is, like, the actual colored people, like black people, Mexicans, colored, like, those people love me. I mean, those people, I've never had an issue with color. Like, I've never had, like, colored people come to me and be like, you Nazi, you, like, they don't even give a shit. It's just so weird. Like, the whole dynamic, it's white, liberal people that, like, literally their only dark-skinned person that they know is me. And oddly enough, the only conservative they know probably is me, because like the other thing is like you'll talk to them and you'll be like, so do you have like other conservative friends? And like they're like, no. And there's this one girl who was really nice, and I remember she was like, yeah, you're my only conservative friend. Like, I don't even know how you're so nice because you're a conservative. And I was like, well, what about so-and-so that you know and so-and-so that you know? Like, there were plenty of people that she knew that were actually conservative, but they just didn't tell her that they're conservative because they knew that she was so nasty about it. And I don't know what they think conservative means, but to me, conservative means like a lot of common sense things, like, you know, free market, money. I mean, that's like, for me, freedom is like the main thing, because conservatives tend to be pro, like, you know, limited government, family, stuff like that, you know? It means different things for different people, but for like, these people like white mainstream liberals, I mean, I'm not even gonna like try to be nice about it because I'm so traumatized. Like, I don't even want to like have to make friends with those people in the future. Like, I really enjoy the fact that redneck land, you know, yeah, you do find people in redneck land, just like you find everywhere, who say something a little bit off key, like, oh, where is that oriental? Like, I don't know what they say, just say off key things. But I say off key things all the time. I don't give a shit what rednecks say that is off key. Like, I would much rather be around redneck land than be around a bunch of really hateful white liberals. I'm sorry. I'm sure there are some people that are white and that are liberal that are watching this video, and I'm so sorry. I'm just so traumatized, and like, I just never want to go back to that again. Like, I never want to be around it. I'm done, dude. I did my time and I'm out, man. Peace. Also, another thing I forgot to tell you is that guy that I dated, he stopped talking to me because of that, because I took that job. And there were a lot of people that stopped talking to me because I took that job. And he was in the beginning, when he was still deciding whether he should still keep dating me, like, he would like hide me from his parents, because he's like, oh no, I don't want my parents to find out that I'm dating a conservative. And so like, he would be so ashamed if they found out. So we would hide from like through their backyard and stuff like that. And I was like, gosh, like, I can't believe I put up with all of that for so long. I know it's not something to just write off a whole group of people over, and I feel bad, you know what I mean, that I've been kind of like running away from that, and I'm like, okay, I'm not dating any liberals anymore. But like, honestly, it's kind of necessary, because it's kind of just self-protection sort of thing at this point. When you're just so like traumatized from something, you have to, there's like nothing else you can do. It's like, I'm sorry, but this is literally like the only way to protect myself. You're still in that world, and you're still around like all those kind of people, and you're gonna bring that into my world, and it's gonna destroy me.